In this video, we will continue to look at ratios. In the prior video, we learned what was a ratio and how to find equivalent ratio. We're going to look at different types of ratios, and we will solve ratio problems by using a double line diagram. We'll look at rate versus unit rate. A rate is a ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. A unit rate is a rate in which the second quantity in the comparison is 1 unit. So let's look at some examples of rate and unit rate. Example of rate would be buying 7 gallons of gas costs $27.09. An example of a unit rate would be 1 banana costs $1.87. When finding the unit rate, you are finding the cost of just one of the items. Let's look at some examples to identify whether they are a rate or unit rate. In our first example, we see 55 miles per hour. The keyword per let us know that they are referring to 1 hour. So this is a unit rate. 120 words in 2 minutes. That is a rate. $75 for 5 hours. That is also a rate. 0.4 miles per minute is a unit rate. Notice, unit rate have keywords such as per, or sometimes they might say in 1. Let's look at an example of how to solve a ratio problem using a double line diagram. In this problem, we see a recipe calls for 9 teaspoons of seasoning for every 5 batches of chicken. 9 teaspoons of seasoning for every 5 batches of chicken, that is a rate. So we would like to know, if you need 50 batches of chicken, how many teaspoons of seasoning will you need? We will first create our lines. Next, we will label each line. So I will label the first line. I will call that seasoning. And my second line, I will call it chicken. This will reference to how many batches of chicken we need and how many teaspoons of seasoning will be needed for the batches of chicken. So we notice that our rate is 9 teaspoons of seasoning for 5 batches of chicken. If this recipe continues and double, we will have 18 teaspoons of seasoning for 10 batches of chicken. As the pattern continues, we'll have 27 teaspoons of seasoning for 15 batches of chicken. If we have 36 teaspoons of seasoning we will have 20 batches of chicken. If we have 45 teaspoons of seasoning, we will have 25 batches of chicken. If we have 30 batches of chicken, we will need 54 teaspoons of seasoning. If we have 35 batches of chicken, we will have 63 teaspoons of seasoning. If we have 40 batches of chicken, we will have 72 teaspoons of seasoning. If I'm given 81 teaspoons of seasoning, then I know I will have 45 batches of chicken. If I have 90 teaspoons of seasoning, then I know I'll be able to cover my 50 batches of chicken. So my question said, if you need 50 batches of chicken, how many teaspoons of seasonings will you need? We can see from our double line diagram that we will need 90 teaspoons of seasoning. Why? Because when we look at our diagram, we'll see that the 90 teaspoons of seasoning correspond to if you have 50 batches of chicken. So here we see how a double line diagram is very helpful in solving ratio problems.